Electrostatics. Electrostatics is a study of electricity that is stationary. So from the word electrostatics, we have electro, that means electricity. And we have what? We have statics, that means stationary. And now stationary means not moving. So this is a chapter that discusses electricity that is not moving. So we know that electricity is a flow of charges. But now, even if a charge does not flow, we say now we have an electrostatics. That means electricity that is not moving. So, but now, what is a charge? So we have two types of charges, which is a positive charge and a negative charge. So but now, how do we get this positive and negative charge? So everything in the world, it has the positive and negative charges. So if we have an object that is having the same number of positive charges and negative charges, we are going to consider this object to be a neutral object. The reason is that one positive will cancel out one negative, and that will happen for all the positive and negatives. For the same number of positives and negative, do you see now we are going to have zero net charge. Therefore, the object is not going to have any excess charge. So it's just going to be a neutral charge. So but now, if an object it is having more negatives than positive, what is going to happen is that the negative and positive will cancel out. But now we're going to remain with what? With a one negative that is not attracted to any positive. Therefore, that negative will be excess. And then now if we have an excess negative, that is when we're going to have a negative charge. So something that is in excess is the one that shows. If you have a negative charge, this does not mean you only have negative charges. You have negatives and positives, but now the charges that are more is negative charges. So the same thing will happen if, for example, you have more positive charges than negative charges. So let's say you have 4 positive charges and 3 negative charges. So all the negatives and positives will balance out, and then you're going to be left with what? With excess of a positive charge. So therefore, what is going to show is going to be a positive charge. But now this positive charge does not mean you only have a positive charge. It only means you have a positive charge that is in excess because the other ones balance out. So that is how you get a charge. So the most important thing to learn here is that a charge does not simply imply you have only negative. You have positives and negative. What it shows is what? Is excess. Is excess of charges. So one important thing is that it is only the negative charges that can move from one charge to the other, because the negative charges refer to what we call electrons. So if we can refer to chemistry, we have what we call an atom. An atom consists of a nucleus, and then within the nucleus we have protons and neutrons. But now around this electron cloud, we have electrons that are orbiting the nucleus. So this nucleus here, it cannot be disturbed. The only thing that can move away is what? Is an electron. It can move away and it can also come here. Electrons can be gained and they can be lost. So what moves between the charges is negative charges. So let us now conclude this lesson by learning what we call electrostatic forces. So now, what is an electrostatic force? An electrostatic force is a force that we find between charges. So if we have same charges are going to repel. They are going to move away from each other. So the name of the electrostatic force is called the repulsion force, because if the charges are the same, they repel. But now if we have different charges, a positive and negative, these charges are going to attract. And therefore the force is named what? An attraction electrostatic force. It's a force of attraction. So the force of attraction is where we have a positive and a negative charge. So we also need to learn how to draw what we call an electric field. So now an electric field in a positive charge, it moves away from the charge. So but now what does this electric field mean? So this electric field, it means now is a distance or a region whereby this charge here, it has an impact. For example, if you put your hand to this region here, you're going to experience the electrostatic of that charge, the electricity of that charge that is stationary if you are within the electric field. But now remember, for positive charge, electric fields go out. But in a negative charge, the electric fields go inwards. So it's very much important you look at this arrow where they are pointing. If they are pointing inwards, we have a negative charge. If they are pointing outwards, we have a positive charge. So remember, we said the two charges can have two forces, which is a force of attraction and a force of repulsion. Let us learn how to draw the net electric field between two charges. Let's say the two charges have the same charge, they are both negative. So we said if they're both negative, they're going to repel. So the electric fields will also repel. They will want to move away from each other. So this is how you would draw the net electric field of two charges if they are both negative. But remember, you always indicate where is the direction of your electric field. If the charge is negative, the electric fields are moving inwards. So you must remember they are moving into the charge. So this will be the net electric field pattern of the two charges that are the same, specifically both negative. So if you had two charges that are both positive, you're going to have the very same thing. But now what is happening is that the charges will have electric fields that are moving outwards. So do you see now? The indication will be outwards from the charges. So that will be a difference for both negatives and both positives. It's just the direction of what? Of the electric field. So now let us learn now if we have different charges, how will the electric field look like? So if you have a positive and a negative charge, these charges are going to experience a force of attraction. So that means the electric fields will come together, they will attract each other. So they're going to join and form one thing. So this is how the electric field of two opposite charges will look like. But remember, the direction is that When we have a positive charge, the direction of electric fields is outwards. And then in a negative charge, the direction is inwards. So do you see now in the middle here, we are going out from positive to negative. So that will be the direction of the electric field. So we are going to stop here in this video. On the next video, we are going to discuss now how to find a new charge if we have two charges that are brought together and separated again. Thank you very much.